Thank you so much for coming today, Joanne.
Thank you.
What kind of resume stands out for you?
Those people will most likely get a job.
どうも、旅研留学の健太です。本日はワーホリといったら仕事探し、履歴書を10件、20件、30件、いや100件配っても全く連絡ないんですと。もうこのままやと履歴書の印刷代だけでも貯金なくなっちゃうよって方おられると思います。実際にカフェとかレストランとかホテルのマネージャーってどういう人探してるんですかと。履歴書を見るときにどういうとこ見てるんですか。面接の時にどういうこと聞いてどういう人材を探してるんですか。めちゃめちゃ気になると思います。なので今日は実際にホテルのマネージャーの方に来てもらって雇う側からの視点っていうのをいろいろ聞いていきたいと思います。この動画を見てくださったら明日からの皆さんの仕事探しにもめちゃくちゃ役に立つと思います。動画の後半の方では実際に僕が使っていた履歴書の方なども紹介させてもらっていろいろ話していきたいと思いますので、ぜひ最後まで見てってください。
留学に迷っているそこのあなた、今すぐ LINE 登録。
Thank you so much for coming today, Joanne.
Thank you.
Today I'd like to talk about a job hiring process, and I'd like to get your perspective as a manager working in a hotel. Like what kind of candidate stands out during the job hiring process?
Okay.
So before talking about it, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
So my name is Joanne. I work as an executive lounge manager in a 5-star hotel in Sydney.
How long have you been working as a manager?
For about 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah, 6 years.
And different locations?
Different locations. I've worked as a manager in another property, in another hotel.
Okay.
In a different field as well.
So you've been in the industry for quite a long time.
Long time.
How many people working at your department?
I have 7 employees, I think, in total.
Seven?
Total, yeah.
Where are they from?
All different countries. So there's people from France, Bangladesh, Philippines,
Okay.
and Japan.
Japan, okay.
As well. 2 employees.
What do you think of the Japanese working style or attitude?
If I tell them to do something, I know they will do it. And they're very clean. That's very important, making the workspace a very clean environment. And they're very positive as well. So they don't create, I don't want to be like
Bias?
I haven't personally had them, like anyone creating any conflicts.
Okay.
Generally very hardworking people.
Oh, thank you. That's
Yeah.
good to know. That's
Yeah.
good to know. You've been manager for a long time, that you have conducted a lot of interviews. How many interviews have you conducted?
I guess more than 100. for
More
sure.
than 100? Wow. When you post the job in a Seek or any other platform, how's the job recruitment done?
Most hotels, there is a human resources department and there's a recruitment manager. So that person controls all the applications that's coming through Talia or Seek.
Right.
There's also internal applications as well. They gather together all the resumes received.
Okay.
When the person is shortlisted, when the resume is good enough,
Right.
they contact the manager of that department.
Okay.
And then it goes from there.
Right. So when you post this job recruitment on this platform, how many applicants or application? How many applications do you normally receive? Average.
A lot.
So many.
So many. I think easier the position is like, like attendant roles and things like that, part-time roles. We get more than almost 1,000
Per one post.
application, yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
how do you choose? What kind of resume stands out for you?
I would straight away go to the experiences.
Okay.
So we skim read. We can't read everything on the resume.
Right.
So we'll open up, see the experience, and then if it's good enough, then we'll give it a little bit more read.
Okay. Right.
If I'm unsure of something, we always call them as well to double check the resume, and that happens frequently.
Right.
But usually, when the recruitment manager shortlists the resume, it's quite good. Usually,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. So you go through the HR first,
Yes.
and then that goes to you.
Yes. Sometimes people contact me directly. People that the colleague knows of, word of mouth.
Right.
Or when people directly hands resume through
Directly
in the
to the
reception.
property.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, to the property.
Is it effective that if they handed over the resume directly to the hotel?
Not managerial level, but I think a tenant level, I think it's worth to give it a shot.
Okay. If they applied it online and your resume is not reviewed, and then maybe they just walk in and hand it over.
Yeah,
It can be effective.
it can be, but even then, there's a lot of people handing it over.
Right.
There's a lot.
So you have a lot
There's
of
still-
pile of the resumes all the time. Do you go through from the top always?
Yes.
Okay.
It goes from the top.
So that means that if they come multiple times to try to be on the top of the pile, that means it has more chances to be
Look, I
reviewed.
think everything that you do always it matters.
Okay,
So
right.
if you really want to go, maybe 5-6 times to hand in your resume,
Right.
give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, give it a shot.
So I have a resume right here, and I just want you to have a look and review. When you review the resume, what are you normally looking for?
Experience.
Experience, straight to the experience.
Straight to experience.
Right. Okay.
Little note on the experience as well. Detailed experience. Your example, for instance, you worked in a Japanese restaurant, taken orders, handling menus, serving food. It's quite basic.
Right.
So if you can maybe explain where the Japanese restaurant was, what sort of a restaurant it was, if it was a 5-star, 4-star, how many seats there were. That gives us an understanding of that restaurant.
Oh, the capacity of the seats.
The capacity,
right,
the
of
quality. If you worked in a fine restaurant, that's always a bonus.
Right.
If you've done any cash handling, been taking stocks, more responsibility-wise that you've done in there. If you've trained staff, yeah, things like that.
Right, so it shouldn't be too basic.
No.
If you've done something responsibility, no, just write it down.
Yeah.
But do you think it's sometimes like if you write it down too much detail, because you basically do the skim reading, right?
Yeah. Too much unnecessary things.
Okay.
So, like adjectives, very, or making it a very long paragraph. Make it just
right.
short and simple
Right.
of what you've done. Yeah.
Right. So even if the Japanese restaurant they're working at, it's not really well known, but still it's nice to see the name of the restaurants and the period of time or how long they're
Period
working
of time,
for.
you always need to put it on as well.
Okay,
It's always
right.
important. If you worked in a lot of places and it's a very short period, that's not a bonus as well.
Okay.
Then the interviewer will always ask, why did you only work here for 4 months,
Right.
only here for 5 months?
Okay.
Because I feel like that person might not stay with us for a long
True.
time.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Easy to jump onto the different jobs, right?
Yeah.
A lot of students don't really have the experience working at, a lot of places. Normally they have experience working at maybe izakaya,
Yes.
right? Just like very casual dining.
Yeah.
But still they can write it down. Okay, the capacity was like 100 seats. They're working in a fast-paced
Yes, I worked in
environment.
a izakaya in the main street of Tokyo with a lot of tourists activities.
okay.
So you handle a lot of foreign customers. There was 50 seats plus, and very
Okay.
intimate dining experience. Blah, blah,
All
blah.
right.
Something like that. Then it makes it look better than I worked in a izakaya and I took orders and served food.
Right, true.
Yeah.
It's too
So,
basic, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to making a resume, I've seen a lot of people making look like very nice, like using the Canva, put a lot of colors, highlight. Does it really necessarily matter to you to attract your attention?
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary. So what kind of resume do you think it's good?
Easy to read.
Easy to read.
Like white backgrounds with dark fonts.
Okay.
And then the fonts should be kept aligned.
Okay.
So big titles, smaller paragraphs,
Right.
sizing is right. Yeah, things like that. Nothing more if you start putting colors, pink, yellow, blue, and then put effects and things like that.
Okay.
It just makes it look unprofessional.
Right.
sometimes.
Do you look at profiles or any key strength
Yes, languages,
languages?
hard and soft skills.
Okay.
More languages that you know, the more better.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you said hard skills, it's like a computer job, Microsoft and Excel, these
Yes.
skills.
Those kind of skills. It can also be certificates if you have any job certificates.
Right. That skills, it's not really relating to the job that they're applying for, but still, is it good to mention in the resume?
I think so.
Okay. Next, I want to talk about interview process. How important the first impression when the candidate walks in?
Very important.
Very important.
The most important.
The most important, the first impression is most
impression.
important. Right. So what kind of impressions are you looking for?
Grooming, presentation, what
Right.
they're wearing, and I guess positivity.
It's
Body
a positive
language.
body language.
Yeah,
Okay. How they walk or how they kind of behave.
The confidence.
Confidence is very important.
Because it very shows as soon as I see them, they're very shy and conservative, or they're very hi, and then shaking hands and things like that.
Right. These gestures.
Yeah.
That helps them to stand out. So what kind of grooming is that no for you?
Wearing sandals, slippers, caps, ball caps, t-shirts, shorts.
Very
Anything too
casual,
casual.
too casual.
Yeah. Looks like you're not serious for the job.
What about like even if it's just a part-time job role?
No.
Even if the job they apply is the position just very casual, like just an attendant, but still do you expect them to wear a suit? Is it necessary?
Not a suit, but just well-groomed.
Well-groomed.
Like especially boys, shave and then put your hair up, wear shirts and pants.
So you're looking for effort that they put to represent themselves nice.
Yeah.
Can you go through what kind of questions do you normally ask?
One of the questions that I ask everyone is I like to give scenarios,
Okay.
not like a generic question. So I would say, in a scenario where a guest walks in and they're very upset, what would you do?
And so from that question, what kind of answer you're looking for?
How they handle the situation. So a good answer, to be honest, is like when a guest walks in very upset, you need to kind of break that situation rather than getting straight to the point why they're upset. So
Okay.
it's good to always kind of like get them away from the crowd. I'll ask them to take a seat, give them a glass of water or a drink, and then after they're a bit more calm, then you start to talk.
Okay.
Ask them what was the issue and things like that, and
Right.
assure them that if you can't solve it, then you will find someone that is suitable to, assure them that you will help them to handle the situation.
Right.
I think this question kind of reveals how they will act when the similar things happen.
So you're kind of seeking for what kind of personality the person has, the characters.
Yeah. Some people will just say, I will ask my manager
To handle the
situation. That kind of like makes me think, if that similar thing happens, they're just gonna like look for me.
Right.
They're not gonna
They
try
don't
to
want-
fix
right.
the problem.
Right. They don't show that they want to handle the situation. They don't have the responsibility
exactly.
for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you're looking for good characters.
They can be responsible.
Yeah, they can be responsible.
They can show empathy to guests. Things like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Right. Any other questions that you particularly asking?
Well, I always ask at the start of the interview if they've done any research on our hotel, and that kind of shows how much interest they have to get the job. It's not necessarily just the position. Sometimes you kind of need to understand the hotel value, our
Right.
cultural background, and it's a plus if you mention to them that you really want to get a job in this hotel.
Right.
I've done this research. You have how many rooms? You have this restaurant and that restaurant and things like that.
True. Because you don't want to hire people who just want to job just for money.
And
True.
some people, they just have like 5 or 6 interviews this week, and I'm just one of them.
Okay.
And yeah, they don't really look like they really need the job.
Okay. They need to show how eager they want to learn or they want to work at the place. If the person doesn't really have the good English skills, let's say kind of speak broken English, but they have good personality, would you consider to give them a chance to work in, maybe not at your department because it's a club lounge, but would you consider them to pass it to different department? So what's the most important when it comes to job hunting for the candidates?
Confidence is very important. Like you mentioned, if the candidate is very good, like everything, all the criteria meets, even if they speak little English, I think I would still consider them. Interview is more, I think, mostly presenting yourself.
Okay.
In terms of like physically, mentally as well.
Right.
If you're very
Okay.
confident at yourself and you're portraying that body language, which a lot of people don't, they're very
Okay.
shy and they're very conservative and nervous for the interview, right?
No pain to show the confidence actually.
Yeah,
right?
so like if you're very outgoing and very open-minded and things
Okay.
like that, I think that really shows.
Okay.
And those people will most likely get a job.
That's a great point. Thank you so much, Joanne.
It's okay.
I really appreciate your time, and I hope this video is useful for the Japanese people who is planning to come to Australia or already here to look for a job.
Thank you.
Thank you. はい、ということで実際に僕が使用してた履歴書の方を簡単に説明させていただきます。これが実際に僕が使ってたやつなんですけれども、これ見ていただいたら、このエクスペリエンス、この経験のところって結構細かく書いてるかなと思うんですけど、細かくって言うてもすごいシンプルに端的に必要なことだけを書いてるっていう感じですね。一つのなんかスキルとかに対して長々と書くとかじゃなくて、こういうのしてましたよっていう自分のアピールポイントになるところは書けるだけ書いてるかなっていう感じです。あとはですね、僕1年間仕事辞めて日本一周してたんですけれども、そういうのもですね、ここにキャリア リアブレイクとして書いてるんですけれども、そもそも履歴書書くときに皆さん多分こう何年の何月から何月までここで働いてましたよみたいな、こういうのを書くと思うんですけども、そこで空白の1年があったら、あれ君何してたんって聞かれるんで、その空白の1年間もしっかりこうキャリアブレイクとして、僕ここやったら YouTube とかやってたんでビデオグラフィーフリーランスでやってましたよみたいなのを書いて、実際に面接の時に仕事辞めていいきっかけだと思って日本一周していろんな人に出会った人の中で自営業されてる方とかの CM 撮影したりとか、人のありがたみ感じたとか、そういう経験をですね生かして自分がどういう人間かとか仕事につなげれますよみたいな、そういうアピールができればいいかなと思って、何でも書いたらええってもんじゃないんですけど、そういうのを書いてどうつなげるかみたいなところが重要になってくるかなって思います。なので例えばカフェとかレストランとかのバイトをね応募した時に、写真が好きな人とか動画作りができる人とかやったらすごいアピールポイントになるんじゃないかと思います。レストランとかカフェのアドバタイズメントを私できますよ、作りますよみたいなのが、おいいね君みたいな感じになると思って、関係ないかなって思うことももしかしたら仕事につながるかもしれないんで、そういうのは書いていったらいいかなと思います。僕もこの最初僕ねエミレーツで CA してる時のが一番上にあって、その後にちょっとね仕事辞めてバイトしてたんですよ、コールセンターに。それをどれだけプロフェッショナルに書くか。コールセンターでのバイトなんですけど、充電家電してましたよとか、お客様からの対応に対してこういうハンドリングしてましたよみたいなのをすごくプロフェッショナルに書ければ、自分のスキルとしてアピールできるんじゃないかなと思います。あとは右の方にエデュケーションと、自分のスキルであったりとか、先ほどのジュアンも言ってたんですけど、ソフトスキルとハードスキルがあるって言って、ハードスキルで言うと、そういうマイクロソフト使いますよ、編集のファイナルカット使いますよみたいな、そういうのも書いたりとかしたらいいんじゃないかなと思います。トップはプロフィールですね。自分がどういう人間で、例えばチームリーダーとしてこういうスキルがあってチームワークをすごい大切にしますよみたいな、応募先の企業によってそこは変えていくんですけど、こういうのを書いてエクスペリエンスを書いてみたいなのをしていました。何が言いたいかって別にこれがすごいだろういいだろうっていうわけじゃないんですけど、こういう書き方もしてるんだみたいな、少しでも参考になったらいいかなと思います。そのフルバージョンちゃんと PDF ファイルで見せてくれよ、お願い見してほしいんだけどっていう人はコメントでもいいですし、旅券のインスタグラムアカウントの DM でもいいですし、ぜひください。先着、それから抽選50名の方に差し上げます。ぜひコメント DM お待ちしてます。よろしくお願いします。今回の動画が明日からの仕事探しであったり、これからワーホリ海外留学するよって方の少しでも役に立ったりためになったらいいかなって思います。なのでこの動画が良かったなと思う人はグッドボタンを、そしてチャンネル登録お忘れなく。ということで次回の動画でお会いしましょう。See you tomorrow!
旅券留学は安心と信頼の手数料無料エージェントです。ご留学に関するご相談は24時間受付中。費用や渡航前の準備、リアルな現地情報や治安から学校選びに関するご相談まで、プロのカウンセラーが丁寧にお答えいたします。まずはお気軽に概要欄の LINE からご相談くださいませ。